Hello everyone, I'm Virginia Killmore and welcome to my studio. Today is Collage Wednesday and we get to play a lot today. The technique that we're going to use today is to use an embossing folder to raise some lettering on the cardstock and then a blending brush to really highlight it and make it visible. So let's get started. So this is our card today, and it doesn't look like a lot till you get really close. You can see the lettering starts to come out. And that's because I took a blending brush and I rubbed it very lightly on there to sort of highlight that. Close up you can see the texture, but by putting the blue on top it really makes it pop. So to make this card we're going to be using Postage for You stamp set. I love this set and we've used it before. But the first thing we need to do is actually work on the stamping in that center piece. And this piece measures, what does it measure? 5 by 3 3/4 basic white. And then this piece is about 1/8 of an inch bigger all the way around. And we're going to do our stamping first, and then we'll emboss it, and then we'll blend it. And I'm going to use Night of Navy so that it's really distinct, even though we're using a lot of Misty Moonlight as well. And I'm going to take first this stamp and sort of stamp the flowers in this corner. If you're hearing a lot of noise in the background, I got my husband and my son trying to figure out what's going on with my bathroom that they're putting in. So they're trying to figure out the lighting situation. That's strange. The Night of Navy looks lighter than the Misty Moonlight, but we're just going to go with it. It'll be fine. It'll just be different. See how I sort of just stamped those 4 there? I probably should have punched out this because that's how I sort of figured out where I could put stuff. But I'm hoping that I remembered. I'm going to use the rectangular postage stamp, and you can see I see enough of what I want there to go ahead and put that together. See how that looks nice like that? So now we need to create the raised lettering. And to do that we have to, actually let's do the birds on a piece of white so that we are all set to go to the next step. So we're going to get that inked up real good. You know what I think I did? I just realized I must have used Memento, but we're going to go with this because I really like the blue, and I think that works. This is the problem I have. I can't remember what I do when I do it. So I made this card 2 days ago. I've already forgotten what I use. I need to write it down. So you see how I'm going to cut that, punch that out, and then I'm going to take and trim it down with my trimmer because I want it to sort of show off the birds. Still have a little piece from my paper that I cut the other day. Cut off those little edges. I need to cut a little bit more off than I planned to. There, that's much better. Oh, my blade popped out. Haven't had that happen yet. Now I'm just going to trim a little bit. So I'm doing that on all 4 sides to sort of clean it up and get it nice and straight. I may need to take a little bit more off the top or bottom, but let's see how that looks for now. Let's go with that. That actually doesn't look too bad. I still would take a little bit off the bottom. I'm just going to be brave and chop it. Okay. So I need blends to color them in, and I don't think I put that down on my list. So we'll get to that in a second, but let's get this embossed so you can see the process. Now, because I'm using a 3D embossing folder that's large, I'm going to have to use the big machine, the big gun. So sometimes we have to use our big gun. Let's see if I'm zoomed out. I think I am, but just in case, nope, I'm not. So that'll make things a little easier for you to see. I tend to forget what I'm doing. Okay, so what's nice about our new machine is that they have numbers, and it's so easy to put it together because you just look at the pictures. And this is a 3D, so we need number 4 and number 1. And I'm going to make sure that I put this in upright. Looks like they solved a big problem in the other room. They're going yay. And then I just run it through. Lickety split. Now I've got that raised lettering there, which is really nice. I've always liked this folder. So now to bring that out, I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight and my brush. Now blending brushes are really neat new tool that we have. We've always had daubers, and they work great. I've used them for years. They're great if you're flicking edges. But to get a really soft transition, these brushes are amazing. There's tons and tons of little bristles. And I'm so proud of myself. I just got a 3D printer and I made these little markers so that you can tell what color blending brush you have. And if you order blending brushes through me, you get them for free. So I'm just going to tap this lightly and then start in the center and work my way out. I don't want to put too much color on. I just want to bring out some of it. I am going to zoom in so that you can see this, because you can't really see it. Look at how nice that is already. Same thing, start in the center, work my way out. They're very excited. They must have done something right. So I'm just going to drag it out to the edges here so that you can really see it. And I'm not pressing super hard because I really just want to get the top layer of the writing. And that's it. That's pretty much all I need, because I just want to get that color showing there. And now what's left to do is I need to color in my words. So I'm going to bring in my blends. And I'm working with Just Jade. So I'm going to start with the leaves. And this is nice because I have it blown in here so you can really see it. I like to work with the hard edge of the pen. Some people do not like that as much, but I do. And because there's line art in here, that means those little lines in between the leaves, I'm not even going to get into the light and dark colors with the blends, because I think there's enough definition with just that. And the one thing that I noticed is when I used the Misty Moonlight on the birds, they got very dark quickly. But I have a special little trick up my sleeve to help lighten areas that need it. So we're almost done with the leaves. Just trying to be super careful with that. And I am going to use the darker color for a couple spots under the belly, under the wings, one of the little tails, the belly, and then up in here. But then I'm going to go to the lighter Midnight Muse, no, Misty Moonlight. It's from a color before that I remember that I loved. Now you see how dark that's getting right off the bat? I'm going to show you a little trick to lighten that up. And I guess the reason that you're supposed to use the memento is that you can make the ink bleed when you work with these alcohol inks. They don't seem too bad. Okay, so those birds are a little dark. You probably can't see much distinction in them. But I'm going to pull out my lifter pen, and I'm going to lift a little bit here and a little bit down in here, just to lighten it up. Right in that area. The lifter pen is strange because it takes a little bit of time. Do you see how that just lifted some of the color off? It just works so nice. I love that little detail. And now I'm ready to put my card together. So let's bring in everything we need. We're going to start with our background, and we are going to put lifters on the Misty Moonlight, but before I do that, I'm going to put my cardstock on here. Now, I usually use my bone folder to push the glue down, but I don't want to do that today because I don't want to damage that. I am going to use dimensionals on all four corners to sort of lift that off. That dimensional wants to pop off right as I put it down, the little cover. Now, my favorite tip to use to lift these off is to just grab them from the corners like this. Now, you have to be really careful that you don't go straight down because you'll go right through your paper. I've done that before. And then you can take all of them to the trash. They're not all over the floor. Now, before I do this, I am going to fold this really good so that I have a nice crisp edge to follow along before I put this on. Because I think the hardest part is lining it up. And when I use dimensionals, you don't have as much ability to sort of mush things around like you do with a glue. And there, that's good. Now, the last part is putting these two pieces together and then putting dimensionals on that. I am going to first make my bow. So we'll let that sit for a second. And yesterday we made, or I think Monday we made a bow using this ribbon, which I really like, but I struggled a little bit. I should try the bow easy. What the heck, let's try the bow easy. Let's see if that makes it any easier. I think it's the hard part is because we're using so many different threads. So it just gets tricky going through and up and around, but let's see how we do. That might actually be easier. So far I'm liking this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to zoom out because I can tell you can't see everything. So I come up and around and through this hole, and that's the trick, through that hole, getting all those threads to come through. All three of them, there they are. And now I pull straight up. I should have a really nice bow if I've done a good job tying it. I like that. I'm much happier with this bow than I was the other day. And I like it sort of trailing like that, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that sort of sloppy. And I'm going to take some glue dots and put it on the back of my card. It's a lot of glue dots. Again, I'm going to use my take your pick tool. This tool is so great because it has so many uses. You just cannot, you can't get by without it. It's awesome for sequins, all kinds of stuff. Okay, and now I'm just going to put my bow on it. And I've decided arbitrarily that I want some bling on it, so we'll deal with that in a second. So I will try to make sure that I print the correct material list for you when I post this video. But let's put some bling on it. It always looks nice. I haven't used pearls in a while, so let's do that. I always like to do a rule of 3. Might as well do the other one since I've got this one. I've got the pearls out, huh? And I like to use different sizes. So what do you think? I really like this card. I think it's so simple and pretty, and it has that collage feel that we love, but it isn't super hard to do. So I hope you enjoyed today's presentation, and you'll check me out tomorrow. Tomorrow's a Thursday card that I've stopped doing naming them, and I really like the card too. I kind of like the lighter version of this. This is lighter than that, and you can use the memento, or you can stick with Misty Moonlight. So let me know what you think. You can leave me a little message. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow.